Welcome to another program. In this program, we are not going to talk about the health and health problems that has been caused by Corona. I'm sure that up until now you have been watching tremendous numbers of videos on YouTube. But this program, we want to talk about how Corona is affecting the country's policy on import and export activities, and how these new policies will affect the relations between the states and how it might impact in different regions. So let's start. It is very important to know that the countries, the states have started taking some steps in order to protect their interest in this unforeseen time. So I would like to give an example about Russia. Russia has stopped all sale activities about the grain. They are not going to sell any grain to any other countries other than the ex-Soviet countries. Why? Because they do not know what will happen in future, so they want to protect their food supply. It's very vital because we can live with our old cars for another 2-3 years, or we can start still using our iPhone 8 or 9 for another 2 years. But you cannot continue living for another 2 years without eating. So that's why countries like Russia has stopped all these import activities, especially the food supply. At this moment, what we are seeing in international arena is some habits and or some procedures are changing. Let's look at China. We know that China hasn't opened the borders for the transportation of the people from one place to another, or within, let's say, from another European country to China and backwards. But they have opened the trade activities, meaning that a supply ship can come to a Chinese port, but now their procedures have changed internally because of the coronavirus threat, which means that these kind of new protections or procedures are causing a delay in the harbors. And that has been causing great problems, especially in the food supply. And then also the containers that are required, especially or with the refrigerators for the vegetables and fruits, means that they are not enough to conduct all these business activities, because they are now delayed, they are waiting in another country's harbor. That's why we are now seeing that there is a shortage of food supply in some countries, and it will take more and more. This can, of course, be modified, rectified by increasing the number of the containers with refrigerators or containers for the transport or for the logistics purposes. And of course, we are now also seeing the number of companies now are manufacturing more containers for that purposes. And the other ships that have been used to transport some or to conduct some logistic activities also can be used for food supply activities. So we are foreseeing that in coming 3 to 6 months, these food supply shortages in the area of logistics will be somehow rectified. But the countries are now changing their attitudes. If a country doesn't import or sell, let's say, grain to another country, it means that the grain cost for the country is going to get bigger. This is going to create inflation. This is also going to create a great burden on the government and also on the people, because the people needs to find and access all this food. Of course, we do not think that it is going to be a very big issue at this moment, but The regional misalignments might cause some kind of problems with that region. Let's say countries like Egypt and Turkey are buying or exporting grains from Russia. If it is going to be stopped or disturbed, it means that there is going to be a food supply problem within that countries. Or Kazakhstan is supplying grains to Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, which are 95% bound to their grain supply. So that means that if it is going to be misaligned, then there might be some problems with that about the economy especially, and this relation or this cost, increasing cost, even might spur some actions between those countries. Therefore, now we are in the unforeseen water. We are seeing that these kind of politics are going to affect the relations between the countries and will enable or will compel the countries to make some significant policies change in future. At this moment, we can't see how this is going to happen, but we are seeing that it has already started. So is it going to be a big effect for the coming 6 months? Because it's now, I mean, between August and October, let's say, it's a harvesting time for the grains. We do think that it's not a problem, but the problem is going to be next year unless a cure will be found, because there will be less people working in farming, or there will be less people working in the factories to produce all these products for the people's services. Therefore, within this year, we do not think that there will be a great problem, although it will be some, for sure. But for the next year, we need to see, especially after October, I mean, before, let's say, the new year ends, the status of the farming activities have they already been prepared for the next year? What is the status of the farming activities, especially grains, livestock, and so on and so forth? And that is going to give us more reliable information or data for projections. But still, we do believe that it is going to compel countries to have major changes in their policies, not only within the state, but also between the states. And we are confident that these food supply problems, regardless any country, is going to increase the cost of the product, which is going to increase the inflation, which is going to put big burdens on the accessing the food and also on the economies. Therefore, we do not believe majorly that unless this is going to, I mean, the cure is going to be found within this year, these increased or increasing prices will fall down, even if a cure might be found by end of this year. It will stay there for a long time. And therefore, these new economic burdens are going to compel the governments to find new ways to rectify these effects, and we will see how this is going to be done. But we are expecting that all the countries needs to print lots of monies in order to keep their daily activities for the people's sake. Let's see what will happen, but we are going to update you with these new data once we access them. But we are more or less confident that there will, at this moment, and by, let's say, mid-autumn, it will not be a major problem. But after that, we will see more and more problems, increasing problems, unless the cure is found, is ahead of us in 2021, especially, unless a cure is found. And we are confident that not in a couple of regions, but globally, the cost of the food is going to increase greatly. And there will be more ships going to be spared for logistic purposes, especially for food supply. And the increasing food prices is going to have an effect on the foreign policies of the states greatly. If you like this video, there is a like button underneath the screen. Please press on it. And also, if you like to subscribe to our channel, please subscribe, and we will inform you once we have a new video for you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.